Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so glad you're joining us today because we are diving into something really exciting and, let's be honest, kind of daunting. We're breaking down the exact blueprint for building a modern data ecosystem for 2026. No fluff here, we're going to take those sky-high architecture concepts and turn them into a totally practical, step-by-step guide. So if you're the kind of person who loves seeing exactly how these complex systems are built right from the ground up, you are in the exact right place. But first, I want you to seriously ask yourself a question. Is your data infrastructure actually ready for 2026? Look, we're seeing this massive industry-wide shift right now. Everyone is racing towards autonomous AI workflows and dealing with just literal explosions in data, volume, velocity, you name it. The demands on your data platforms have honestly never been higher. And here's the tough truth. The infrastructure that got us through the last 5 years, it's just not going to cut it for the next 5. No way. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're up against. We're moving away from the old world of legacy business intelligence. You know, the batch architectures, the static dashboards reporting on what happened last week. Now we're entering the 2026 reality, the operational fabric. This whole new ecosystem isn't about looking in the rearview mirror. It's about building business-ready data products and fueling active AI agents in real-time operational environments. It's a complete foundational paradigm shift from just passively observing data to actively and autonomously operating on it. So let's cut through the AI hype and look at our practical builder's blueprint. We're going to follow this exact step-by-step roadmap. Step 1 is foundational pipelines. Step 2 is the AI layer. Step 3 covers governance and trust. And Step 4 wraps up with cost and FinOps. Okay, but before we get totally distracted by the cutting-edge stuff, we need to address a crucial reality. Despite all the shiny new generative AI tools constantly popping up on our feeds, the real secret to 2026 readiness is actually getting back to basics. Seriously. To successfully deploy advanced AI, you absolutely have to ruthlessly execute on foundational skills first. I'm talking about the core, unsexy technical execution, SQL efficiency, query optimization, solid schema modeling. Because at the end of the day, you simply cannot build a modern skyscraper on a cracked foundation.
All right, let's kick things off with Step 1, foundational pipelines. Now, before any autonomous AI can even think about running, you've got to build robust foundational data pipelines. Honestly, this explainer is heavily focused on this exact step for a very good reason. If your data isn't moving cleanly and at lightning speed, none of that AI magic we'll talk about later is even going to work. Let's look at the roadmap. First up, you need to be building out real-time streaming and event-driven architectures. The days of waiting for overnight batch processing, those are fading fast. Second, we're bringing in modern Lakehouse or Fabric approaches. That's what lets us handle those crazy sub-millisecond operational workloads, basically blurring the line between data lakes and data warehouses. And finally, tying right back to our back-to-basics rule, rigorous SQL optimization and schema modeling. Your pipelines need to be incredibly lean and fast.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Step 2, the AI layer. Okay, so now that we've got those super fast, optimized foundational pipelines in place, we can actually start structuring our data for advanced AI. And right at the center of this new AI layer are agentic AI workflows. Let's slow down for a second and define exactly what these are. We aren't just talking about basic customer service chatbots here. These are autonomous systems deeply fueled by your modern pipelines that can actually take independent action. Think about AI agents that can autonomously write and debug their own code, or execute really deep multi-layered market research. They become active working participants in your business operations. Pretty wild, right?
But to give these generative AI applications the accurate corporate context they actually need to function safely without hallucinating all over the place, we need some very specific infrastructure. We're talking about vector databases and hybrid search, which power your RAG and CAG setups. We also need graph databases to map out complex business relationships plus semantic layers. That semantic layer is absolutely crucial because it translates your technical data into real-world business logic that an AI can actually understand and use accurately.
Moving right along to Step 3, governance and trust.
Here's the thing. Giving AI direct access to your company's data operations introduces some massive risks. That's exactly why AI-ready data requires a rock-solid foundation of governance and a philosophy of trust by design baked right into the architecture from day one. A huge part of this is figuring out how to handle the really tricky intersection of decentralization and integration. For instance, take data mesh. That's a decentralized approach where your domain teams build, catalog, and monetize their own data products. Now compare that to a data fabric, which is essentially a unified metadata layer integrating your entire stack. A true 2026 ecosystem doesn't just pick one or the other. It seamlessly balances the agility you get from a data mesh with the centralized oversight of a data fabric. Making that complex balance work requires fully automated systems. You absolutely need automated data contracts to guarantee the shape and quality of the data products moving between your teams. You've also got to implement robust data observability, zero-trust access control, and fully compliant lineage tracking. Because without these automated guardrails constantly running in the background, your data just isn't AI-ready enough to be trusted by a truly autonomous agent. It's just not worth the risk.
Okay, let's dive into this next one. Step 4. Cost and FinOps.
With the sheer scale of the 2026 data environment, we're talking massive multi-cloud complexities and a total explosion of data volume. Severe cost pressures are just an unavoidable reality. Platform engineering and financial operations are now absolutely critical to the modern data stack. And as you're designing your infrastructure to manage all this, you're going to encounter a newer term defining the hardware landscape: neoclouds. Let's make sure we totally understand this one. Neoclouds are GPU-centric cloud environments engineered from the ground up specifically for intense AI workloads. Figuring out exactly how to use these specialized neoclouds alongside your traditional multi-cloud and hybrid architectures, that's a massive strategic task for data leaders today.
To manage the skyrocketing costs associated with these multi-cloud setups and neoclouds, teams are actually fighting fire with fire. They're turning to AI itself through autonomous FinOps strategies. Platform engineering teams are now utilizing AI co-pilots to do things like autonomously optimize database schemas, intelligently manage cloud compute auto-scaling, and even perform predictive pipeline pruning. Basically, the AI identifies and shuts down unnecessary resources before they can waste your money. It's incredibly smart. And when these automated observability and FinOps platforms are actually implemented correctly, the results are staggering. 60 to 80%. That is the massive reduction in storage and pipeline compute expenses that leading organizations are achieving right now as we look toward 2026. I mean, that is the exact kind of game-changing ROI that keeps your CFO very happy and completely justifies the entire infrastructure upgrade in the first place. So how exactly are they pulling off a 60 to 80% reduction? It's not magic. It's just great engineering. Modern automated observability platforms rely heavily on intelligent data sampling, meaning they aren't unnecessarily processing every single bit of data when they don't have to, and silent failure detection. By instantly catching broken or redundant pipelines before they quietly sit there burning through compute credits for weeks, they drive immediate, massive cost reductions.
As we wrap up this blueprint, I want to leave you with a really clear view of the challenges you're going to face out there. Here are the top 3 friction points data engineering teams run into when building this 2026 infrastructure. First, balancing the intense AI hype with that back-to-basics core technical execution we talked about earlier. Second, just wrangling the sheer complexity of multi-cloud environments and massive data volumes. And third, the massive cultural and technical shift required to fully transition from legacy batch processes over to true, real-time operational environments.
And that brings us to our final thought. I want you to take a hard look at the metrics you use to measure your own organizational data maturity. Ask yourself, are we just building dashboards to report on the past? Or have we actually done the hard work of building those foundational pipelines, ensuring they are truly ready to fuel the autonomous AI of the future? Definitely something to chew on as you look at your own infrastructure this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this blueprint helps you build faster, smarter, and with complete trust. See you next time.